Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to welcome you to the We Are Real Talk show, where we allow people to come on and speak about their accomplishments to get everyone involved. Michelle is here. Okay, perfect. So today we have a bunch of ladies. I'm going to let Diana Lawrence talk a little bit about what she's surprising us with. And then we'll let the young ladies, they're both beautiful queens, we'll let them speak about their platform and go into what brought them to do this. So Cynthia, you want to read the disclaimers?
Hi, everyone. Yes, first and foremost, welcome everybody to the channel, the show. And a quick disclaimer, like Lisa and I are not licensed medical professionals. We are not attorneys. We are here for fun, education, and to share each other's stories. And I'd like to also thank our sponsors, Travel Transparency, travel through wholesale, not discount. Office is located in Oceanside, Laguna Hills, Granite Bay, California, and way in Scottsdale, Arizona. And we'd also like to thank Maria Rivera, celebrity makeup artist and beauty educator. Her services include, but are not limited to, bridal hair makeup, one-on-one makeup tutorials, 8-hour makeup boot camp, and 40 to 80-hour makeup journeys. You can contact her at iteachyoumakeup@gmail.com or by phone by 626-252-0999.
Now I want to just mention that Maria does my makeup whenever I compete. She also does a lot of my makeup for my photo shoots and appearances. So if you really want someone who will get the job done and do it right and make you look your best, contact Maria.
Yes.
So
amazing work. I took a look at her page. Wow.
Yeah,
very clean lines. There's no demarcation in the makeup, even tone and very clean. I like it.
Yes. Yeah, you don't come out with like bunger eyes or funky.
Yeah, you don't come out with a who's that?
Yeah. You know who you are when you look in the mirror. Okay, so today I want to welcome some beautiful ladies. Look at those crowns. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. Now I want to explain to everybody that these ladies are highly educated. I had the opportunity last year to judge the pageant, and I see one of the winners sitting right here, Michelle. We're going to get to her in a moment. Hello. And first, I'd like to introduce Diane, and I'm going to let her speak all about what she came up with this pageant. It's just amazing. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much. Well, I wanted to do something different. And one of the things that I really wanted to focus on was education. And so I don't know if you remember back in the day, the Mrs. American Achievement, and that came around. And then when it went away, I felt like there was a hole, that it was missing something. We needed to bring something like that back. And so I waited patiently for somebody else was supposed to take that on and didn't end up taking it on. So I've been dreaming of it for 10 years to be able to go forward with it, and decided to expand it and to make it Dr. World, Dr. America, and Dr. United States of America. So the women have to have an earned doctorate. And this last year it was virtual, and this year is going to be virtual as well. The goal down the road is for this to be more of professional development event that happens to have a crowning at the end, if that makes sense. We really want to start talking to women that are looking at their associates and looking at their bachelor's degree and trying to figure out what avenue they want to take, because we really want to encourage women to understand the power of education if that's the path you choose. So in this competition, we have the traditional evening gown, but it also has a presentation piece with that. And it's 30% because we want our wonderful representatives to be elegant and be able to be at different events. And so we keep the elegant part, and we all love the dress up part. So we still kept that. But 50% is a panel interview, as you know, that is a part of it as well. And we did that. And what I loved about being virtual, there's a lot of things that positive came out of COVID, in the sense of it got people really comfortable with the online platforms that they might not have been as comfortable with. So we were able to pull off, I can honestly say in my entire experience, I've been in pageantry, competing, etc., for a lot of years, like 3 decades or more. And, one of the things is it's just, you want to have the opportunity where you have an on-time interviews. And I know that sounds so silly, but I'm sure everybody here has been pageants where the interviews are an hour late or 2 hours late, and then it runs into into the production time and the practice time. Hey, Danica. And so what I loved about this, COVID gave us the opportunity to do the virtual interviews in panel style, and every single interview was perfectly on time. I have never experienced that in my life, and it has nothing to do with just because I was running the competition. It had to do that we could control things in a whole different manner than we'd ever been able to do before. Another thing that's interesting about this, is different than most pageants, is there's a competition called field presentation. And so what they do is they want to talk about, or they talk about their field. And it's so important because the whole goal of this, as I said, is more about the professional development, is for people to learn about the fields that they thought they might want to go into, but don't know enough about it, or don't have the right women to ask about it. And so it's 10% of their score is to talk about their field. So we try to interview, then they have the field interview, and then they have photogenic. We still have a small percentage that's photogenic, but because we still, want to celebrate the natural beauty that our queens have. That's another piece that's different too. And just cut me off when if you if you want to.
No, I'm fascinated because I remember doing the judging, and I remember seeing the videos and going through the interviews and the evening gown and the presentation of where they have their degrees. And I was just fascinated. I said, wow, this was a group of ladies that were just incredible. I loved it. I learned a lot on my own. Now I don't have a doctorate. I went to Juilliard for voice and drama, so I don't have that. But I could tell you, I sang all the way when I was watching the ladies. It was beautiful. It really was. Now tell me, when is how could the ladies, if they want to be a participant, how do they contact you? What do they need to do? Give a little insight. You don't need to give pricing or anything like that. What I'm talking about is like application, date,
Sure.
time, things like that.
Okay. Well, we did is we had so many people that contacted me that said, well, I'm ABD, or I have a master's, or I have an associate's, and so I don't have a doctorate. What is available to me for me? So that is with Tiffany's title is basically for women that she happens to have a doctorate, and that was the inaugural year. But we also, it's a competition for women that have from a professional certificate, so maybe nursing, practical nursing, through master's degree. And that competition's coming up. The deadline is July 1st to enter. And then they will be submitting their videos. They'll be submitting their photogenic and all of that. And we will have the live panel portion on the 17th of July. So very excited, but it's coming up very quickly. And so excited about people getting involved in that. Then down the road, we have in September is when we'll have the Dr. World, Dr. America, and Dr. United States America. That is September 18th is when the live portion is. Awesome. And they can go to drworldproductions.com to see any information about all of that. It has the competition information, what's expected of them, so that they're very aware before they even think about doing an application.
Now, the categories. Tell me is it one category? Tell me how you do this.
Okay, so the categories are the photogenic is the 10%. Interview, because of the mentoring aspect of this, that we wanted 50% to be interview. And then there's the field presentation. What I like about the field presentation, it gives them a chance to really highlight what they do versus taking time just away from the interview to talk about that. It gives them another opportunity, not only to be able to talk to the judges about it, but to other individuals, because we do use those videos in other ways. So it gives them the opportunity for that. Again, that focus on their career and what they're doing. And then evening gown, they have to introduce themselves so that we can see them as if they would be on a stage. But what was so fascinating is the different areas. Some people, I had someone do it on a dock. I've had people in the street. We had all kinds of things where it was very interesting. Even one for interview, the lighting was so bad in this temporary housing she was in because of traveling overseas, that she had to use the refrigerator light to get the right glow on her face. So it's a fascinating. It gives them a chance to be creative, and that's the other piece. They cannot hire a professional photographer for the video at all. It must be from a cell phone. It must be. Michelle could even tell you. Her mom took the pictures she used for her photogenic as well as her video. I really wanted to make sure that an educator that may make this amount of salary versus somebody that's making this, that they really had that opportunity to, and Angel could even tell you how she learned how to do video editing because she had to do it herself. And it's just fascinating. So I just love seeing the creativity.
They were very creative. I remember that. I was like, wow, look at that. I mean, the ladies came up with things, they utilized what they had to use. And I really appreciated that because it actually gave a lot of their personality in what they were doing. And I loved that. I was seeing the real ladies at work and being creative and utilizing what they were able to use during COVID. And it wasn't that easy, but they did it. And I liked it. I really did. Now we're going to go through, tell me the categories that we have 3 ladies here. Who represents, because I can't see their sashes, so.
Okay, so you have Danica is Dr. America, and there you go, and Michelle is Dr. United States of America. And the biggest difference between that is the age division. We have 21 to 45 is Dr. America, and then 46 and up is Dr. United States of America. When I was building this, a lot of people said, I don't want to compete with a 21-year-old. So we added that in, and then Dr. World is 21 and up. So, and then you have Tiffany, who's representing Ms. Achievement World. And so there's 2 different areas of that. There's Ms. Achievement World and Ms. Achievement United States of America. And that's the one that's in July.
Well, that I understand because in 2019, I competed and I was competing against a young lady who was younger than my youngest child. And I was all in 7th heaven because I made first runner up. So I was like, yeah, I must not look that old. No. But we had a lot of fun. She was a sweetheart, opened the doors for so many women. That title for her was well deserved. Then the following year, I was able to start a division, which was
I watched
the Classique division. And that being the inaugural crown winner on stage was just amazing. It was something I worked hard for. But we're going to get into talking to these ladies. I want to hear about their platforms. I want to hear a lot about them. So I'm going to go with Michelle. She's right there first in line. So I'm going to go with Michelle, and then Tiffany, you'll be next. And then how do you say your name exactly? Because I don't want to mess it up.
Line them, like line them up. My last name, I'm assuming.
No, yes, exactly.
Lynham, yes.
Okay, so Michelle Lynham.
You got it.
Yours.
Thank you so much for having us. This is an awesome opportunity to talk and meet one of my judges. That's incredible. I've been starting to go to some pageants and I'm meeting like lovely ladies who are like, hey, I judged you. And that's really fun because during those 5 minutes, I was pretty nervous. I didn't catch anybody's names, but this is all new to me. I'm brand spanking new and I'm having the time of my life. This has been just such a great gift that Diana has given to me. And I just can't tell you how much it means. It's definitely a true light in this year that we've had, year and a half of just fear, thinking the world's going to end. And now we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and the joy and the happiness is just continuing.
Well, tell us what you do for a living. This is what blew me away. So tell us a little bit about yourself, because when I read your bio and I listened to your bio being explained to you to us on video, I was like, I'd like her to take care of me instead. Go ahead. Tell them what you do for a living.
So I'm an anesthesiologist. So anesthesiologists are physicians. So after college, I did 4 years of medical school and then a 4-year residency. We're talking like 80 to 100 hours a week, 36 hours. And they've actually changed it a little bit, but I would often spend 36 hours a row in the hospital. You've never been so tired, but it's kind of like taking a drink from a fire hose. So you learn a lot. It's very brutal. You put kind of everything else on hold in your life. Fortunately, I met my husband in medical school, and he was a great support to me. So we had each other to lean on. Also, I did do medical school and residency in my hometown of Richmond, Virginia. So I had lots of people to lean on during that time. What I love about anesthesia is I get to take care of all types of patients, from kids to the elderly, people having elective surgery, people are having traumas from car accidents, just, you name it. My absolute favorite is labor and delivery. There just is nothing that compares to, well, one, putting an epidural in a mom and her wanting to hug you, but also for the C-sections, getting to be in the room and seeing the baby come into the world. It's like, I feel like
no,
it's so amazing.
Scary, Michelle, because I delivered
right
my
there.
granddaughter.
Oh.
I will never do that again. She was on base, and it happened to be 7 babies were all born at the same exact time.
Wow.
And these poor people there, they were just going crazy, and I'm yelling, and I didn't actually sound like a queen then, I have to tell you. I actually,
that's all right.
Colorful words were coming out, more colorful than my shirt.
They
But
do say that people with colorful vocabularies tend to be of higher intelligence. That's a documented fact. Not gonna go any farther than that.
I'll tell you, I have to agree with you with one thing. When she came out and she was in my hands, and there's such a bond there, but just to hold a life, just to know that you were part of helping that life come into the world is amazing. Now, what is your platform?
So I, am completely new to pageantry and had no, all I knew was that I couldn't sing, I couldn't dance. And I always admire these wonderful, articulate women. So it was not really on my radar. And then when 2019, end of the year, I started watching this, COVID, and as it got more and more serious, I was just trying to educate myself and just deep dive into every article I could find. I was talking to physicians in France and Italy and what is going on. And I knew pretty early on that it was gonna come here. So that was kind of already something that I was doing in terms of education, and telling, anybody who wanted to listen and maybe didn't want to listen, that like, hey, we got to stay home. Hey, we got to mask up. Yes, this is working. I have family back in the Czech Republic, and discussing with them what was going on there. The Czech Republic was kind of an outlier early on in the pandemic, and so when my older daughter's model, so I'm fortunate to know a lot of the local pageant girls, because there's a little crossover in the modeling world. So I know how just amazing and wonderful and giving these women are, and one of them found out about the Dr. World production pageant, and kind of nudged me, and I'm like, no, I can't speak. I'm not articulate. This is just the farthest thing from my comfort zone. And she just kind of nudged me, like I was literally on vacation. And I started thinking, like, you know what? The current Miss America, who I got to meet a few weeks ago, Camille Schreier, was Miss Virginia. She is a doctor of pharmacy student at my alma mater, Virginia Commonwealth University. And I said, you know what? She got up on stage and did a science experiment. She blew stuff up. She did something called elephant's toothpaste, and she won. I'm like, you know what? I think maybe pageants have something that can offer me and that I can offer them. And things are kind of having a rebirth, so to speak. And, I touched base with Diana Lawrence several times, and I probably said, yeah, I don't think I can do this. And, the more we talked, I realized, first of all, what an amazing director she is. I have no experience, but I know from the other girls that not a lot of directors are as amazing as she is. And she, like, I don't know if they twisted my arm, but kind of like tugged me along. And I'm literally at the beach and trying to figure out how to get my transcripts. And she just walked me through with baby steps. And as I got closer and closer, I realized, gosh, I can save lives. So I'm saving lives in the hospital, and now I can have a broader audience. So people will come and they'll look at my sparkly crown, and they'll look at my dresses. And while I got them, I'm going to teach them. And, you can't force feed people stuff, but I definitely can counsel people. I can clear up misinformation. I have people in my inbox every day asking me about, what should they do, whether it was, travel, and work situations. I also felt so empowered that I decided to be a volunteer for the vaccine trial, and my daughters followed suit, and my 7-year-old just enrolled. She's going this Saturday for her second placebo/vaccine. So it's just been so exciting. I've had probably the most touching thing is I had a mom message me, and I have this letter up on my social media because it means so much to me, that she shows her 9-year-old daughter my Facebook posts, my Instagram stuff, and said, see, you can be feminine, beautiful, and you can still be a nerd, a rock star, and just,
There you go.
not just science, but anything you want in life. Women don't have to just be a pretty face or be a bookworm. We can have it all. We can do multiple things, and it brings me so much inner joy to know that I'm saving lives. And also, personally, this has been such an amazing way for me to heal from the trauma of losing my classmate. I do, my medical school classmate was an ER director in New York, and she passed away in a terrible way. But I do things to honor her. I do things to honor my immigrant parents. My dad passed away 10 years ago. They came to America. And let me tell you, I am like, he was the biggest patriot, and he would be so excited to know that I was Dr. U.S.A. So I do a lot of stuff for, his honor.
Well, he knows. He watches. He watches.
He's a brilliant MD, PhD,
Yeah.
and he was always teaching. So I am just being a nerd and disseminating information. I'm trying to inspire youth, especially the young girls, but any youth who wants to talk to me. I've had many girls already come to me and say, hey, I want to be an anesthesiologist. How much school do I have to do? I had a girl just last week ask me, and that just, really fills my heart. And, now that things are opening back up, I hope to spend some time in the classroom versus just virtual. I was doing the virtual reading to the kids and talking to the kids about science and technology and all that cool stuff. So
well, on that lead, we're going to go right into Tiffany. Tiffany, start telling us a little bit about you, your platform, and what brought you to this pageant.
Yes, I'm Dr. Tiffany Purnell. I'm the inaugural Miss Achievement World. I'm so excited to hold this title. This is my first international title, and I wear my crown proudly everywhere I go. I don't know if everyone knows this or not, but I competed for the title of Dr. World in Dr. America in October, and I placed third runner-up in both pageants. And the judges were amazing. And I know that the judges were amazing because you were one. But the judges, they were top tier. And I was just honored to even place third runner up among so many amazing, educated women. So then I competed for my current title in December, and I won on December the 23rd. I was crowned Miss Achievement World. And I'm glad because 5 days later, I found out I had COVID. So, and when you have COVID, of course, you have to quarantine yourself. You have to distance yourself from everyone. And it's really depressing. It really is. And so this was like the bright light that I had, knowing that I just won this amazing international title. And usually with my platform is empowering women and young girls. I love to instill that help to instill that confidence in young women and girls, because that's so important, because at the tender age of 7, girls start to feel, girls start to have low self-esteem. And I was a teacher before I became a principal. And as a classroom teacher, I taught second and third grade, and that's around the age where the kids start to have low self-esteem. And so I saw how their low self-esteem affected their grades. It just affected how they were, in the classroom, how they treated other people, and I knew I had to do something about it. So I started SASH, Students Against Self-Hatred. I started that in 2015. And I would hold like SASH meetings like every month. And at the meetings, I would do little self-esteem activities with the girls to help them get ready for our annual Little Miss SASH pageant. I used to hold that pageant every April, but since the pandemic, I haven't had any opportunities to host those meetings. However, I was thinking one day, how can I continue to empower women and how can I continue to empower girls? And so I started a show called She Empowers Talks with Dr. Tiffany. And on that show, I just love to invite title holders from every single pageant system that you can think of on my show so they can tell me about their platform. I just want everyone to see that being a title holder is more than what meets the eyes. Like, we really work in our communities, and we are very passionate about our platforms, and we have a lot to offer society. And I just want, other people to see that. I want to highlight those women, and that's what I have been doing. So I think, maybe in a few more months, I will start back up my SASH program with my girls, and that'll make me happy. And so I'm really sad I give up my title in about 27, 28 days. I will crown a new Miss Achievement World. And this reign has just flew by. Like I said earlier, I was not able to do all the things that I would normally do with the title because of the pandemic. However, I feel like in this short time, I have accomplished a lot. And so I'm excited about that. And my sister queens are amazing. The director, Diana, is amazing. Whenever I have my talk show or whenever I'm on the show, I always get support from my director and sister queens. And I'm just so thankful for this organization.
Very nice. Now we're going to go, not last but never least. Okay. Can you tell me how you pronounce your name? Because I'm going to pronounce it Italian, and I don't think that's what it is.
Yes, it's Danica.
Danica?
Yes, that is correct.
Tell us about how you came to the pageant. Give us a little info on what work you've been doing with your title, and tell us about you. We want to hear it.
My name is Danica Hill. I'm Dr. America. I'm a licensed attorney, which is super unique about me. I am in a financial services industry is where I primarily practice. The thing that's really unique is that I'm licensed in multiple states. Most attorneys are only licensed in one state. However, I'm licensed in multiple, and it just keeps growing, I feel like. So that's definitely a huge achievement of mine. I came to Dr. World because most people look at me and they're like, there's no way you're a lawyer. There's no way you went to law school. You're crazy. And so I want to break the stereotype, the mold. I want women to know that you can be pretty. You can, have a doctorate. You can do all the things, literally all the things. You can model, you can do whatever you want, and not to be confined by society's stereotypes that they've attached. So that's really what I love about Dr. World is it celebrates women, their achievements, their accomplishments. And, being smart is beautiful. It is okay to be smart. You don't have to be a hidden nerd. And so that's something that I really appreciate about Dr. World. It's huge about mentoring as well. I was also Mentor of the Year in the competition, which I was very honored to receive. And so I mentor a lot of younger women as well to, chase their dreams. And the other thing, my platform is actually domestic abuse survivors. So I actually provide pro bono legal services to domestically abused women. And while I was in law school, I provided about 150 hours, if not more, pro bono legal services to women who are domestically abused, in addition to working full time at a busy litigation firm and going to law school. Was a huge undertaking. But the value that I've found in that is great. I myself am a domestic abuse survivor, so I don't fit your mold. Most people that are domestic abuse don't fit, they're not, doctorate degree holders, these types of things. And so that's where I get a lot of comments that, you're so inspiring, you'd never think that you've been through a thing in your life, the way just meeting you, talking to you, but just that you can overcome and you're not defined by any abuse or being defined by your past. So that's my platform. Obviously, since we've been in COVID, I haven't had a lot of chance to work with that because a lot of the shelters are closed. You can't meet with people in person, but I have met with clients through the Zoom thing, mediation, those types of opportunities. But I really love the Dr. World system. It really celebrates being educated, being a smart, beautiful woman, and I love it.
With you have a soft spot in my heart. I'm sure you know I was in a domestic violence marriage for 29 years. I'm surprised I'm here half the time, but a lot of times I remind myself, well, that this is why, because I do exactly what you do, except for I'm not an attorney. I sit and I help them fill out the paperwork to apply for the restraining orders, which you know what that takes. It's a lot. Make sure that I have the police reports and so forth. So it's a lot of work to do. But at the end, just saving their lives to me means everything.
Right.
I've been doing that for more than 30 years now.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing.
Yeah, I was part of the team in Italy. I actually went there and stood in front of the Senate, though, and helped pass the zero tolerance law in Italy. And now you've been adapting it country by country. So when I passed, I did leave a good legacy. I took the negative.
You'll always leave a good legacy.
I took the negative and I just turned it into a positive, like you were saying yourself. A lot of people say I'm an optimist, but you know what? In every dark cloud, there's that little bit of sunshine that if you focus on that, you'll get things done. So I thank you ladies so much for coming in. Is there anything else you'd like to speak about before we go into our final presentation here? Diane?
No, I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and I appreciate Lisa having us on and getting a chance for you to get to know the rest of the contestants and the title holders and the winners that you didn't get to judge, so that you can see I'm just so blessed. I couldn't be any more blessed with the title holders that I have. I pinch myself all the time. I mean, literally, I got stuck in traffic on Saturday coming home from something, and I was trying to get on the 1 o'clock show, and tears are running down my eyes, because they were just so sweet. It was just, I'm just so proud of them, and I'm proud for them to be representing this and all the hard work that went into, from the crown designs to everything, trying to do it with true honor and respect for these women.
And what
They are beautiful crowns.
Yes,
really
they are just stunning crowns. So that's one thing I'd like to know. What inspired you to come up with this particular design and coloring?
Okay, well, so you can, I don't know if you can see, but this is the W in world, and then each of these, it's education and community and mentorship, and the rising, the whole thing was about the rising up. This was years in production to try to get to this point, but each thing, it was all about trying to represent what I wanted. And then for the inaugural years, I wanted to have something different. So they have the little tips that are the colors, but it won't be that. They're the only ones that will have that. And then I wanted the purple for the United States of America, and blue, of course, for America. I always think of it that way because I didn't like the garnet stones. for that. And then obviously Tiffany's was the most recent, which was the ice blue. But I really just wanted them to be a simple design that the W was, and you can see even from the logo on the sash, every little piece I tried to make it that it would go together, even though it was more loosely. But yeah, I wanted the world to be in the front, because to me that's the Dr. World Productions. So, but I can't tell you how many designs I went through for so long to get to this point. And I also wanted to do things differently. I wanted it to be a full round. I wanted it to be larger, so it sat on the head, better. There's all those things, you've done it for 30 years, you try on all these crowns and they're like killing you, you get a dent in your head. I really wanted everything that I had that the women would have in their lives would be something of quality, and that they would be, feel special with it. So that was what kind of went into all of it. So
it's absolutely beautiful. I love the idea that it goes all the way around. It looks gorgeous on everyone who wears it. It's just beautiful. It fits everybody. I just, they're keys. They're, through the years, they've been keys. Now you and I go back way
back.
We go way far back. We met actually competing in a pageant together, in different categories, but we still competed in a pageant together. And I remember that, I do. And it was just, it's funny that the sisterhood that you create, no matter which pageant you go on, you'll, how could I say this? You'll just connect with certain women at these events that the friendship never breaks. I know women from Singapore and Malaysia and Italy, of course, that's my representation all the time. And then we've got the United States and so many other countries that I've met ladies that I would have never had that opportunity. Russia and Ukraine and Romania and all over the place. And it just, doing the pageants, yes, I'm in the travel industry, everybody knows that, but doing the pageants, you just meet people in a different way and you build that bond, and it's just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful what you carry for the rest of the years. I want to personally thank each and every one of you for coming in. I love what you're doing. I love the idea that you are not only just a queen with a crown, but you're also offering the opportunities to a lot of young ladies where they can have that little guidance on what career they want to follow and so forth. And the volunteerism is just beautiful. I don't want to sound, how do I say it, favorable to one more than the other, because all of your volunteerism is beautiful, but you know where my heart is. Through COVID, I was on Zoom doing council representation to try to help women fill out their forms and get out of the situations. And I'll tell you, there were days that I was online all the way 48 hours straight, because unfortunately during COVID, there was a lot of domestic violence going on. But now that the doors are opened and people will have that freedom to get the educations that they need. Tell me.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I just want to say the thing that I really love about pageantry, that obviously you hear about the sisterhood, but it gives a platform, no matter what pageant you're doing, to learn to deeper about someone and their story, why they're there, and to also understand we as women struggle with our self-confidence. We are constantly judging ourselves, and to know that there's other women out there that are not perfect and that they're just like you and they have the same struggles and the same, hurdles that you may have faced. You have sisters that probably have went through the same thing. So just a platform, no matter what it is, for someone to share their story, to get to know them on a deeper level, because you get to know their story, which I think is really beautiful. And then just obviously to inspire those around you. I had a boss who, she goes, "What's this pageant thing you do?" So I told her about my platform, and she said, that's so touching, that's so moving. I'm actually, like yourself, leaving a domestically abusive marriage. And she, it was really touching to her that this is something I stood for. This is something I represented, and that I was willing to share my story. I don't walk around like I have been through a relationship like this, but I think that's important that you can move past it. It doesn't define you. But then also I think it's important to help the women who have been through those situations, because it's tough. Let me tell you, it is a very, very, very tough situation. And, everyone is different. And so just being a positive force, helping even someone go through the process of the paperwork and this, that, and the other is really important. I think it's very, very, very influential work. But of course, I love all of us sister queens. We're beautiful and smart. So I'm a huge supporter of all of us.
Yeah, the process of that paperwork, I remember when I went through it, you forget how to read, you forget how to write, because you just start remembering everything that you were going through. So it's always nice to have somebody there to be able to say, wait, you tell me and I'll input it. This way it's a lot easier for that individual. Yes, and it is good not to let that define you. A lot of people are shocked when they hear my story of what I've gone through, because they're like, but you don't act that way. And I said, well, how am I supposed to act? I don't know. But my thing is that each and every one of us are here to help one another. We are women and we need to support each other regardless. Everybody makes mistakes in their life. And if there's somebody there to help them through that mistake, that's what's important. And I thank each and every one of you for coming on. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Diane, thank you for starting this, because this at least gives young ladies the opportunity to see that even though they are studying and they are focusing on education, they still can do something else and further that education by helping other people. So with that said, I want to thank you, ladies. Thank you for coming in. Cynthia, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'll share something. Regardless whether we know it or not, you're always somebody's inspiration. And you may never know it, because way back when I was in elementary school, we took a field trip to the police station. And I remember seeing a female officer, and she had a beehive and a gun. And I'm like, I want to be her. Needless to say, the beehive went out of style.
Wait a minute now.
Yeah, I thought she was, there she was opening a cell door so we could see what it was like inside, right? And she had a blonde beehive all tucked up nice and tight. And she had that gun and she was, all right, kids, come on. I was like, wow.
But tell them what you did.
I got a lot of stories.
No,
by the time I'm done.
Tell them about how that inspired you and where you took it.
It did. I carried that for years, and I literally, I took myself through police officers training courses on my own. I did run around with a private investigator for a while. It taught me a different side of me, where it was, you got to make a decision right now, because before I've always been in this, which way do I go? What do I do? But other than that, so I turned in my gun and I became a hairdresser. I got the cool,
making the beehives.
Tease her, get it up high. But no, the only PhD I hold is a professional hairdresser's license. And that's where I ended up.
And that's all right. It doesn't, and that's the thing, is it doesn't matter that you do. It just happens to be that this was a passion for me. But I think that anybody that pursues anything, any kind of higher education, whatever it is, for a certificate on anything, is just trying to be their best selves. And so it doesn't matter that, whether it's a doctorate or not. It's just encouraging women to have the wherewithal and the support to get to the next level, whatever that level is for them.
And it's
I just
never
now, when you see young girls, they're gonna look at you and they go, I want to be like
Yeah,
her.
Oh,
exactly.
every time when I used to have titles and I would be in pageant, in parades, I always had the doctor and they'd go, you'd see the mom go, look, she's smart and beautiful. Because it was, and that's where, because smart is beautiful, is to get them to understand that you can do both. You can have it all. Like I think Michelle said it, or Danica said it, or Tiffany, one of them, or they all said it. You can have it all.
Yes,
You can.
you can. Well, in closing, we're going to close out the show, but I'm going to say thank you very much, ladies, for coming on. We truly appreciate you coming on, and this will be posted later this evening. And it'll be posted on the We Are Real Talk show. Plus, I posted on a bunch of other places too. So you'll see it on YouTube and on my page and so forth like that. So thank you again. And thank you what you're doing for women and young ladies in the world today. The positive news is the best news, I think. So thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Thank you, Diana.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So as the ladies are going, my goodness, I tell you.
Talk about brains and gorgeous.
I know,
Good.
right? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Holy cow.
Yeah, these ladies are just, they were amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, amazing. I love the idea that the versatility, do you see there's an actual anesthesiologist, and then you have an attorney, and then you have
yeah.
a teacher, and you're going through all these different careers. That is just, it's amazing. And I had the opportunity to judge some of these ladies, and Michelle actually was in my judging bunch of ladies. And when I read her biography and things, I was blown away. I said, wow, this is just, I was very proud of her, very proud of her. And when she won, I was super excited because I thought the other ladies, let me just mention this. The other ladies who were in her category were just amazing. It was very hard to pick just one person out of that group.
I bet. I mean, you hear everybody's stories and they're accomplished, and none of that's easy. None
No,
of it's easy.
no.
And you're like, wow, am I doing justice or injustice to somebody else? I don't want to make somebody feel inferior to another. I don't know.
Yeah, none of those ladies were
You're
inferior.
like, can I leave now?
Yeah, they were just, it was amazing. I was very happy with that. On the other hand, we are open. California is 0 masks if
Lucky.
you have your vaccine. If you don't have your vaccine, they prefer that you wear your masks indoors and when in groups. They're working on vaccinating everyone. It's difficult for people like myself who are allergic to everything practically. So to get a shot, it's hard. You have to set up an appointment where you can be at the hospital, because I have very bad allergic reactions with Cynthia. You know that, you've been present at times when that's happened. So just everyone, please follow the rules and regulations. Don't get us back on a close down because nobody followed the rules and regulations. We're getting this opportunity to open up and start living normal lives. Let's just, it's simple. When you're indoors, put the mask on if you're around people. Even if you have your shot, newsflash, you can get COVID. So it just, they say it's supposed to be a lighter version, but as being in the travel industry, I speak to a lot of people a lot of times, and they tell me that it wasn't a lighter version and that they were hit pretty hard. So just be careful. It depends on the individual, on how you would react after receiving the vaccine, as well as if you do get COVID from it, not from the thing, but after you have it. Because the shot, I sat with a pharmacist who was one of my clients, and he went through explaining to me, and newsflash, there is no COVID in the vaccine. So none of the vaccines have the COVID, what do you want to call it? Disease, I guess. Virus.
Yeah.
So you don't get COVID from the shot. My opinion, and let me just make that strong. My opinion is that if you get the shot and you have COVID and it's just a light case, because that's a lot of times people have COVID and it's just like a little cold. So maybe you have a light case and you didn't get tested before you got the shot and you went and received the shot, it will bring out more antibodies to fight, and you will end up getting sicker. So in reality, the COVID is not from the shot. It's just you have already had it while you got the shot. So if you're afraid of any of that, just go and get the test before you get the shot. Simple as that.
Oh, my part of the world. I think we are in orange right now, and there was talk of ley seca, which is dry law. So last week, all the alcoholics went running to the liquor stores to pile up their storage of alcohol. Say it like it is, right?
Yeah.
They stockpiled their booze because they said that they were going to sell alcohol for a little while to close down again. Because see, now this is what I learned. The Yucatan Peninsula doesn't have natural resources, so they don't have any kind of production. They rely heavily on tourism. So that's why from Cancun all the way down to Tulum, they opened the floodgates for tourism. So all the tourists see Cancun and say, let's go. Well, now what's happened is that area is starting to get reinfected. And right now from the news, the local news here, they have a second shipment of vaccines, but they start in the tinier villages first. And then eventually I'm waiting for my second shot, and it'll eventually get here. So I'm just waiting for the notice to come that it's going to be here. But other than that, it's resume back to being in your home. There is a curfew of 11:30. No one out in the streets, and the police are out there. They won't hesitate to stop you.
Well, in Italy, they did that for a little while also. They are open now, but they're opening, I should say. But they did have a curfew where you weren't allowed out after 7 p.m.
Oh,
And it just, if everybody would just follow the rules and regulations as they pronounce them, it would go faster to reopen. I still think, and again, it is my opinion, but I still think that if everybody would have just stayed home when we had our first lockdown back in, what was it, February or March or whatever of 2020, I think if everybody would have just stayed home and didn't have to go party and go to the beach, that would be waiting there when you got out, this would have been over in the United States. It would have been over. But they just kept fighting it, and it just kept getting worse. So the thing that nobody seemed to want to use their logic with is everybody said, well, if I don't touch anything, I wouldn't get it. No, it was airborne from the beginning.
It's airborne, yeah.
It didn't matter if you touched anything, you know?
So a question we could have asked the ladies earlier is like, how long do you wear your mask at work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I change my mask constantly at work. I change it. I wear.
You get these people, moaning and groaning, I can't breathe in a mask. Well, these doctors are wearing masks day in and day out.
Yeah.
How do they manage to do their job while you sit there in the middle of a grocery store crying that you can't breathe?
Well, first of all, I don't believe that, because I have issues and I could still breathe out of it. So I don't believe that. Second, some of them faces need to be covered up. Sorry. had to say it.
You're like, could you do us a favor and wear the whole
Just do me a darn favor, people, put them masks on.
what do they call those? A burqa? The Middle Eastern women that just have the eyes. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
do us a favor.
Do us all a favor. But it is what it is. And, you know, like I said last week, it's always something Rosanna Dana. That's in honor of Gilda Ragnar on Saturday Night Live.
I remember her.
She was a
She was
good,
great.
yeah, she was a really good comedian. I loved it. And she used to do this skit called Rosanna Dana. And amazing woman. If you have a chance, look it up on YouTube. You'll die laughing. This woman is something else. And then she goes from one thing to another so fast. And I mean, it's you just crack up. I've seen them
Is that the
live.
skit where she plays a little girl in her room?
No.
I remember that one.
Newscaster, and she comes on the news. She's a news reporter, I should say. And they invite her on the news, and she starts talking about one thing and ends up with this other thing, like a woman having a little piece of toilet paper on her heel, you know, and she goes on with that. And it's just, it's amazing. The woman was just, she was a true comedian, a true actor, and truly missed. Actually, all the original cast of Saturday Night Live were all good. They were amazing people. Some of them are still around, some of them aren't, but they were all amazing people. Them and Mel Brooks. I love Mel Brooks.
I wish I had that quick comedian thought process, you know.
I do, but it's more of a sarcastic version.
I would just like to say something and everybody bust out laughing.
Yeah,
Quick-witted, quick retorts.
right?
Point out the obvious. It's really funny. You know?
Yeah, amen to that. Okay, so let's hear about our sponsors. Let's thank them and let's call it a night.
Oh yeah, here we go. Travel transparency. Travel through wholesale, not discount. Offices located in Oceanside, Laguna Hills, Granite Bay, California, and Scottsdale, Arizona. And our newest sponsor, Miss Maria Rivera. She's a celebrity makeup artist and a beauty educator. Her services include and are not limited to bridal hair and makeup, one-on-one makeup tutorials, 8-hour makeup boot camps, and 4 to 80 hours makeup journey. Contact her at I Teach You Makeup. That's ITEACHUMAKEUP@gmail.com or by phone at 626-252-0999. And if you missed that, it's okay. It'll be down there, posted down below.
That's right. You'll see it posted. Another thing I want to talk about is next week, I think our next show actually is going to have more surprise guests.
Yay.
I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to surprise you.
Ooh.
And we're
Do I
going to
know
have
them?
a lot of fun.
Do I know them?
Maybe.
Kind of, sort of.
Maybe.
All right.
Remember that the doors are opening for travel. Make your appointments for travel transparency and get in there and travel for true wholesale, not on sale. So with that said, from We Are Real Talk to you, have a wonderful week. Stay positive, and remember, news never always has to be negative. It could be positive because you can learn from it. Okay, so take care, guys. Thank you, Cynthia, for coming in, and we shall see you soon. Ciao, ciao.